Beginning the countdown list at number 10 is LMFAO, still one of the coolest music group names ever, which is why it's such a shame that their career didn't last. Their song Party Rock Anthem took over the world back in 2011 because it basically forced everyone to get up and dance no matter how shy they were. It was such a hit song that it became one of only 20 songs to reach the Recording Industry Association of America Diamond status. They earned their second #1 hit later in 2012 when they released their song Sexy and I Know It. Another banger. The party boys who made the group, Red Foo and Sky Blue, are actually related. Red Foo is Sky Blue's uncle, which was actually part of their demise in the end. The party ended for them in 2016 when they split up after a nasty feud between them, which Sky Blue aired out all over Facebook. He accused his uncle of abandoning him after a back injury, which left him unable to perform during their huge stadium tour. He basically said that he continued performing as LMFAO without him. After the split, Red Foo released a solo album called Party Rock Mansion in 2016, but only sold 144 copies in its first week. Sky also produced 2 albums, but neither of them got the party started again, if you know what I'm saying.
In at number 9, David Eason. David Eason was living the high life as an MTV reality TV show star for their hit success show Teen Mom 2. The only reason that he gained any notoriety though was by dating Janelle Evans, who he eventually married. Because of this, he naturally was just woven into her storyline on the show. Although little did he know just how big of an impact there would be from sending out some tweets. David went on about all of his controversial opinions. Everything from gun control to taking shots at the LGBT community. And because of his comments, he was immediately fired from MTV's hit reality show, and the network even put out a statement saying, David Eason's personal comments do not reflect the views of MTV, adding, with 6 weeks left of production on Teen Mom 2, effective immediately we are ending our relationship with him. You know who I really feel sorry for in all of this? Michael McFadden from before they were famous. I mean, isn't he a doppelganger for David Eason? Sorry, Mike, I had to do it. I had to.
Coming in hot at number 8, we have Kathy Griffin. It all started with the president. Kathy Griffin has always been a controversial comedian, but in 2017, Griffin took it a little too far when she posted a picture of her holding a blood-soaked model of Donald Trump's head. Now, when news broke on this, she claimed that it was only a harmless joke, but unfortunately, some people didn't see it that way. Quickly, Griffin was dropped from CNN, where she hosted as a New Year's broadcast every year, and she was even dropped by Squatty Potty. Shout out to the realist Squatty Potty, I miss you. Kathy's backlash continued as her comedy tour was cancelled and she lost jobs, money, and even her closest friends and family. Needless to say, one picture cost her everything.
Jesse Metcalfe. The actor had many fans rooting for him and his former girlfriend, Cara Santana, but they all quickly turned on him when he was caught cheating on her with not one, but 2 other women. He was actually engaged to Cara when photos leaked online showing him getting real cozy with other women. They officially announced their relationship ended on January 22nd and claimed that it had nothing to do with cheating, but that's kind of hard to believe. People started attacking him online for the photos, not understanding how he could do that to someone he's been with for more than 10 years. 10. So who were the other women? One of them was a model named Olivia Pillman, and the other one was an Australian actress, Albany Pietrantonio. I hope I said that right. Who he was officially seen kissing outside of a bar in LA. Sorry to throw shade at those ladies, but like, he's a taken man. Hey, they might not have known. In all fairness. And at number 6 is R. Kelly. For more than 2 decades, the R&B singer has faced allegations of sexual abuse. It's actually kind of surprising to see that he's been able to have such a successful career still throughout all of that. But in 2018, news stories started coming forward accusing him of sexual assault, and claims were made that he had preyed on younger women. But this year in 2019, he was officially charged after an old documentary of his life showed that he had been with a girl he knew was underage. Because in the video, he states her age and then apparently just forgot that he ever did that. She was an artist that he was producing for, and there was a behind the scenes footage of her recording at his studio, and he walks in the room and announces her name and age, and she was like 14. He was charged with 13 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse and 2 separate federal indictments for sex trafficking, all of which he has pleaded not guilty to, although you've literally been caught. As of now, he is currently sitting in jail, and it was announced in October that he will not get bail. He will be behind bars until his trial in 2020. Happy to-do list at number 5 is Paula Deen. It's easy to recognize her seeing as her face was all over the Food Network for years. She was once everyone's favorite cooking show, Southern Lady, and it led her to getting gigs on shows like Top Chef, Extreme Makeover Home Edition, and Master Chef. But all of that changed when a lawsuit was filed against her in 2012. Lisa Jackson, one of her former general managers of one of her restaurants, filed a lawsuit against a celebrity chef accusing her of racial discrimination. She claimed that Paula would use the N-word around workers and wanted to stage a Southern-themed wedding with black men playing slaves. In a testimony during the trial, the manager's lawyer asked her if she had ever used the N-word before, and she said yes, of course. As for the wedding thing, she claimed that she got the idea from another restaurant and called it beautiful and impressive. Once her statements were verified in district court, the Food Network quickly reacted and refused to renew her contract. She did post some apology videos, but it just wasn't enough to save her. Then in 2015, she tweeted a picture of her son in blackface, which is now deleted by the way, and people went pretty crazy about it. So either she just doesn't get it, or like she just doesn't care.
In at number 4, Thomas Ravenel. Fans of the Bravo show Southern Charm will remember this guy quite well. Fans were used to Thomas and his short temper, but they were certainly taken aback when he was arrested in 2018 for assault and battery in the second degree. The craziest part was that his victim actually appeared on the show as well. In the series, she is known as Nanny Dawn, and according to her, Thomas had corralled her into his bedroom, dropped his pants, and even blocked the doorway so that she couldn't escape. Following these allegations, Bravo immediately cut him from the show, and according to one insider, his former co-stars were happy to have him gone. To further destroy his career on reality TV, Thomas pleaded guilty to third-degree assault and battery.
Number 3, Paula Deen. Once everyone's favorite Southern butter-loving mom, Miss Paula Deen's deep-fried empire burnt to a crisp, as people soon found out that she's actually pretty racist. The scandal broke back in 2012 when Miss Paula was sued by a former general manager of one of her restaurants, where he alleged that she had frequently used the N-word. As if that's not bad enough, she also wanted to stage a Southern wedding with black men playing slaves. Slaves! Paula, why? And you know what's even the cherry on top of this racist pie? She never denied a thing. See, normally when a celebrity gets caught red-handed, they at least try and come up with excuses or lie about it, but no, not Paula. She's like, yeah, no, I did it. Whoops. Anyway, since this all blew up in her face, she's basically been shunned by most of the public, although she did appear on a season of Dancing with the Stars after her scandal. Why? I haven't a damn clue.
Number 2 is Usher. Probably not someone you expected to be on this list. He's not really the type of guy to get caught up in all of that Hollywood drama, but it will depend on whose side of the story you believe. Usher recently put out a new song called Climax and immediately got called out by The Weeknd, who claims his song was taken from his first mixtape, House of Balloons. The singer, real name Abel, said, "I heard Climax, that Usher song, and was like, holy F, that's a Weeknd song." He also said that he is flattered by it because that means that he is doing something right. People then started comparing the two songs and said that the new song does have a similar sound. Usher didn't say anything to these claims, but he posted a video of him singing the song instead, like a cappella. He went on his Instagram and sang the song, basically live and raw without any track playing. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of awkward. But I think he was just trying to show that like, the song doesn't actually sound like his track. But Diplo, who actually helped produce and co-write Climax, admitted that he was a fan of the Weeknd sound and wanted something similar for Usher's new sound. That is some tea. Earning the number 1 spot on our list is Allison Mack, who is famously known for her role in the CW series Smallville. The actress lost everything when allegations came out that she was involved with a group called NXIVM, which is a company in New York labeled as a pyramid scheme, a sex trafficking operation, and a sex cult. The group would force its female followers to have sex with their leader, Keith Raniere, and get branded with his initials. Pictures have been revealed of the branding initials, where you see an RK, but if you turn it sideways, you can also see the letters make an AM. People from the group have said that Allison Mack was Raniere's personal slave and was one of the top members who organized the illegal sex schemes. Her entire career shattered after she pleaded guilty to racketeering conspiracy and her alleged role in a sex trafficking case. As part of her guilty plea, Mack admitted to state law extortion and forced labor. After her initial arrest, she was released on a $5 million bond. She was supposed to be sentenced on September 11th of this year, but the dates were adjourned to allow time to complete some pre-sentencing reports, courts, so we are still waiting for a further update. She could face up to 40 years in prison.
In at number 10, Farrah Abraham. Farrah Abraham first received public attention after being cast in the reality TV series 16 and Pregnant back in 2009. Following that, she was recast in a sort of follow-up series called Teen Mom. Following the ending of that show after 4 seasons, she then released her debut studio album along with her memoir titled My Teenage Dream Ended. Oof. Although Farrah believed she needed to have multiple plastic surgeries to maintain her fame, in 2014 she admitted as much on the Bethany Frankel talk show. Another way she tried to maintain her fame was by leaking a sex tape. Unfortunately, information was then leaked that the whole thing was just a setup and then nothing really happened, other than her career on reality TV being pretty much over, because there's absolutely no way TLC, the Learning Channel, is going to partner up with her ever again.
At number 9, Mark Salling. Remember Glee? Unfortunately, I do. Ever since the show came to an end, we've seen drama here and there with some of the former Glee cast, but I don't think any of them have come close to the scandals surrounding Mark Salling. Glee's Noah Puckerson was arrested in December 2015 for possession and distribution of child imagery, just 9 months after Glee took its final bow. According to police, they found a laptop containing compromising images of children between the ages of 5 and 12. 5 and 12, people! He was quickly arrested, and news broke pretty quickly, and as a result, he was dropped from his upcoming project. After speaking with lawyers and the prosecution, Salling agreed to take a plea deal but committed suicide before the sentencing. His body was found in a canyon in Los Angeles in January of 2018. I loved Glee back in the day, but after this, I have no respect for Mr. Salling or his character.
Cruising into number 8 is Eminem. It's not the first time that his lyrics have pissed people off, but some people think that his lyrics have gone too far this time. Back in January, people were angry after he brought up Ariana Grande and the tragic Manchester bombing that happened at one of her concerts. 22 people died as a result from the 2017 attack, and Ariana said she still has PTSD from that night. If you haven't listened to his song Unaccommodating, the lyrics say, "But I'm contemplating yelling bombs away on the game, like I'm outside of an Ariana Grande concert waiting." Eminem does not see these lyrics to be an issue, but people were quick to come after him, saying that it was sick of him to turn that tragedy into a joke or even lyrics. The worst part about this though is that after the lyrics in the song, he does a bombing explosion sound right after that lyric. Probably not necessary. Cruising into number 7 spot is Jordyn Woods. You would only know her because of the Kardashian and Jenner sisters, and I am not throwing shade, I'm just stating that as a fact. Jordyn was Kylie Jenner's best friend, and they even lived together at some point. It was safe to say that she was pretty much like a sister to Kylie and the rest of the Kardashian girls. Fans got to know Jordyn through their reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and from there she's been able to build her own career. But it all went downhill for her earlier this year when articles started surfacing saying that Jordyn was making out with Khloe's man and baby daddy Tristan Thompson. Now, he's been busted for cheating already, so that part wasn't all that surprising to us, but Jordyn was like a sister to Khloe, so that was some serious broken girl code. The girls all started tweeting out their feelings, emotions, and their side of the story. It was just a hot mess. Turns out she actually partied with him that night and spent the night at his house. The entire Kardashian family unfollowed Jordyn on social media and completely cut her off, and she moved out of Kylie's house. Coming in number 6 is CeeLo Green. His career took off as a musician, becoming a mainstream artist and also landing the role as a judge on The Voice. From there, he also started to dabble in some acting, appearing on SNL, Anger Management, Hotel Transylvania, and Parenthood. But one other thing he's known for is saying things that get him in trouble. He has no issue saying how he feels, and it's landed him in trouble on many occasions. But things took a serious turn in October 2012 when he was accused of sexual battery. A woman claimed he had raped her while partying one night. Almost 2 years after the allegations, he received probation and community service after pleading no contest to a lesser charge of giving his victim ecstasy. 2 days after the case was closed, on August 31st in 2014, he went on Twitter to talk about it, and rather than an apology or a thanks for the support from fans, he wrote, "If someone is passed out, they're not even with you consciously, so with implies consent. People who have really been raped remember." And yeah, that's basically what ended his reputation. TBS canceled the show called The Good Life, and he also lost his headlining gig at the Gretna Heritage Festival in New Orleans. He is still pursuing a music career, but we would be lying if we said he does not have the career he used to or the respect. Cause dude, what the f?
In at number 5, Josh Duggar. The Duggar family had a very clear branding when they debuted their show called 19 Kids and Counting. With a family that large, it was important to Jim, Bob, and Michelle that they keep their religious values close. Due to them being part of the independent Baptist community, the family always took pride in their kids being morally responsible. Although their family name would soon become less well known for that and more widely talked about because of what their son Josh Duggar did in 2015. In 2015, news broke that their son Josh had sexually abused several young girls as a teenager, which included some of his own sisters. The family was scheduled to appear on Oprah, but after the news broke, she canceled the spot immediately. Following that, his charges were dropped because they were beyond the statute of limitations. Although this was more than enough negative press for TLC to just cut ties with the show. Well, cut ties, I'm saying it lightly, they canceled the show. The real nail in the coffin for Josh and his family though was when Gawker released the list of people subscribed to the website Ashley Madison. Sure enough, his name appeared and he was forced to admit his infidelities.
At number 4, we have Meek Mill. Now chugging along the bitter Twitter train, next stop Meek Mill. Remember him? Well, his downfall began when he challenged the King of the North, Drake. In this heavily one-sided argument, Meek began dissing Drake, claiming that he didn't write his own music. This all started because Meek was salty about Drake not promoting his newest album. Talk about P-E to the T-T-Y. Drake fans soon followed up, as fans often do, and roasted the crap out of Meek. The two artists then went against each other and they released music subtly and not so subtly dissing one another, and obviously Drake won. Meek lost that fight bad, since basically the whole world was on Drake's side. Bottom line, don't be petty, guys.
Taking over the third spot is Khloe Kardashian. It is no secret that celebrities make brand deals and promote a product online even if they don't believe in it. But one of Khloe's promotions raised some serious concern. It all started in January when actress Jamila Jamil called out Khloe for promoting flat tummy detox shakes. Khloe posted a picture of her and the shake and captioned it with a discount code. Jamila publicly responded to her tweet and wrote, blah blah blah, eating disorder culture, blah blah. She then screenshotted the Twitter interaction, posted it on her Instagram, and talked about if Khloe is poor and that is why she feels the need to do ad deals like this one. The actress didn't stop there though. She posted up this long message and explained that she thinks it is wrong for celebrities to do deals like this one and promote an unhealthy product that isn't a healthy way to reach your actual fitness goals. Especially considering the fact that these celebrities have their own personal trainers, chef, money for cosmetic surgery, basically everything they need to do to look the way they want to. People agreed with Jamil and said that it is a huge reason why eating disorders are so prominent in young females. Let me tell you, I do not want this kind of reputation on my back. I don't want people thinking I'm out here promoting eating disorders. Moving on to number 2, we have Jussie Smollett. He's mainly known for his role of Jamal on the TV series Empire. His career was in the best shape of his life until a story broke the news on January 29th, 2019, saying he was in the hospital after being attacked by 2 men. The story claimed that the attackers were yelling out racial and homophobic slurs and poured a chemical substance on him before beating him. His fans and the rest of Hollywood teamed up together and began titling the attack as a hate crime. The 2 suspects in the case were both arrested and charged, but the truth all came out when it went to court. The men ended up telling the court that Jussie paid them to stage the entire thing. They even had the $3,500 signed check as evidence. On February 21st, Jussie was arrested on suspicion of filing a false police report. Under Illinois' law, doing that is considered a Class 4 felony and could lead to 1 to 3 years in prison with a judge-set bond of $100,000. They also ordered him to surrender his passport. The producers of Empire cut his character from the final 2 episodes of the current season, and they said that they were evaluating all the options for the future. Luckily for Jussie, prosecutors have now dropped all the charges against him, which is actually really annoying to me because I feel like his celebrity status got him out of that one somehow. But people don't forget, and both his career and reputation will probably never be the same as it was before. Hopefully. Finally, in the number 1 spot is Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman. The actor was huge for his character during the 80s, which ended up becoming a household name. His career was a huge success. He took on 2 feature films and also an Emmy-winning children's TV series. But his reputation and his career changed drastically in 1991. During a visit with his parents in Florida, he was arrested for indecent exposure at an adult movie theater because he was spotted masturbating during a movie. He was 38 years old at the time and pleaded no contest and agreed to take part in a new anti-drug campaign to avoid a trial on the misdemeanor charge. After the whole scandal, Pee-wee toys were pulled from the shelves across the nations and he hid from the public eye, pretty much disappearing for the remainder of the 90s. He did attempt a comeback, but more charges of sexual nature were brought against him, but this time around it was related to child pornography. Police officers seized thousands of items from a collection of vintage gay erotica, and he also faced claims of owning sexual images of children. The worst part about this whole thing is that he was the face of a children's franchise, so I feel like that makes it like even more disturbing.
Coming in at number 10, Mariah Carey. My sweet Mariah, doth thy whistle tones bring comfort and joy to all? Well, maybe not. Mariah Carey has recently been somewhat of a meme after footage of some of her live show fumbles have surfaced. In the footage, you can see Carey failing to lip sync to her songs, trying to go off book and sing herself, and even failing to hit her signature whistle tone. Not the whistle tone! The fun doesn't stop there because back in 2017 at her live New Year's Eve special, audience members witnessed as her earpiece stopped working and Miss Mariah just froze. She walked off the stage and the audience was not impressed. Since these last few mishaps over the years, she's lost more and more credit as a singer, and honestly, I kind of feel bad for her. She was such a star back in the day, but after years of hitting those high notes, I think it's time that Mariah retires.
Coming into number 9 is Kourtney Kardashian. If you've seen the viral video of her recently, then you might already have an idea as to why she's on this list. While filming her family show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she got into a fist fight with her sister Kim, which she initiated. Full out, initiated the whole thing for no reason. The fight was brutal, it actually was, and Kim was left with bleeding scratch marks all over her arms and back. Now, of course, it does take two people to get into a fight, but Kourtney initiated the entire thing, which started as a casual conversation. There are new articles surfacing recently claiming that Kourtney could even need a lawyer if Kim ever wants to press charges on her. Since then, Kourtney has confirmed that she is quitting the show officially and called it a toxic environment. It's kind of hard to picture what her career will be if she does leave the show, because she is mainly known for that. Her sisters kind of have a career outside of it. I know she has her own company called Posh, but I don't know. I feel like this one might affect her career. Sliding into number 8 spot is James Charles. You have to be your own judge for this one on whether you think his career is truly over or not. Obviously, he is still a YouTuber, but his career took a massive hit earlier this year after he was exposed by a fellow YouTuber, Tati Westbrook. The 19-year-old YouTube star lost more than 2.5 million subscribers, and people were saying horrible things about him online, even filming videos of them destroying his makeup palettes. It all started after Tati posted a 43-minute video where she described all the things she did for him throughout his career and how he backstabbed her by promoting another beauty company instead of hers. More than 530,000 people hit the unsubscribe button on his page on the day that her video was posted. She also got really personal and began telling stories of which James apparently preyed on straight men and tried to convince straight men to be sexual with him. Accusations started coming out of people accusing him of doing so and also making claims that he is sexually manipulative in order to get what he wants. James did end up responding with a video of his own, but people did not react well to it. Like other scandals in Hollywood, it did end up blowing over in some time and the drama kind of fizzled out, but a lot of people don't look at him the same. He was also unfollowed on social media by a lot of celebrities, some that included Kylie Jenner, Kim K, Miley Cyrus, Shawn Mendes, and Katy Perry, who once partnered with him for CoverGirl. Not looking too good. And at number 7 is Amanda Bynes. She was once the it girl of Hollywood. She started her career at the young age of 10 and quickly rose to fame, making herself an A-list celebrity. But in 2010, she randomly announced her retirement on Twitter, and fans were both shocked and confused. By 2012, things in her life got pretty serious, and quickly too. She was first arrested for an alleged DUI in April, and after that she lost control of her finances and her mom was granted temporary conservatorship. CBC News covered the announcement, and the reasoning was determined for displaying increasingly erratic and bizarre behavior. Later in 2014, she was hospitalized under psychiatric hold. Fans were quick to judge, but Amanda has been open since then about her struggles with mental health and her addiction to drugs. During her interview with Paper in 2018, she said, "I don't know if it was a drug-induced psychosis or what, but it affected my brain in a different way than it affects other people." We were all hoping that she would make a comeback, but she relapsed in October 2019 and began living in a sober home. So yes, she did destroy her career with drug use, but mental health to me is not a joke, so this is not to discredit that.
In at number 6, Richard Hatch. So way back in the year 2000, yes, 20 years ago, Richard Hatch had outsmarted his competition on the show Survivor. After he made it through the isolated location and won a series of immunity challenges, he went on to take home the grand prize of $1 million. This is all well and good, but remember to use people like Richard as a shining example of what not to do. You see, Richard just deposited his winnings right into his bank account and then did not pay any taxes on his earnings. 2 years after he had won, he was given an indictment for willful evasion. Although because he refused a plea deal and went straight to court, he was found guilty on all 10 criminal counts. Initially, he was looking at serving 47 years in jail, but was only sentenced to 3. After his release, he was given another chance at reality TV in 2009 when he appeared on The Celebrity Apprentice. Although not too long after that he had started on the show, the IRS came knocking again. Except this time they got him on charges for failing to refile his 2000 and 2001 taxes and neglected to pay an outstanding tax bill of $2 million. He was then sentenced to 9 months in prison, thus missing out on even watching the finale of Celebrity Apprentice and ending his career in reality TV forever. Or indefinitely? Indefinitely.
Sliding in at number 5, Azealia Banks. Wee. We have another angry Twitter alert. Miss Azealia Banks, come on down. You're the next contestant on Twitter Feud. But no, seriously, Azealia Banks ended her own career when she started tweeting at Zayn Malik, claiming that he was stealing her music ideas. She was also caught making some seriously racist remarks at Malik, and man oh man did she make me want to clutch my pearls. But that's not the only time she's had beef online. She's also been seen feuding with ex-Disney star Sky Jackson, as well as sending her homophobic energy to Perez Hilton. Now, even though she's faced backlash for like all of her tweets, she just keeps on sending them. Sounds like someone we know, wink wink. With all of her bad vibes online, almost everyone has lost respect for her, and I don't blame them. Like my mother always said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything.
Sniping the 4th spot is Ellen DeGeneres. The thing about this one is she didn't really have some like dramatic, explosive thing for her to receive backlash. In the last couple of months, people have randomly just started coming forward, exposing all these stories claiming that she's not a nice person. YouTuber Nikki Tutorials went on her show for an interview and then shared online that it wasn't a pleasant experience like she thought that it would be. And from there, more and more people have just been sharing these stories online. Even one of her former bodyguards have come forward saying that she's not the person that she portrays herself to be on TV and called her cold and demeaning. It's hard to say what the rest of 2020 has in store for her. She still does have a lot of support in her corner, but recently it is just one headline after another and people are just constantly throwing her in the fire. So I really don't know what this year's gonna bring. In our 3rd spot is Amber Portwood, another MTV star who appeared on 16 and Pregnant and then Teen Mom OG. She was one of the 4 girls that actually helped create the original Teen Mom series, and from the start her career was always pretty rocky. Throughout the series we saw her in and out of jail after struggling with drugs, alcohol, and also facing physical assault charges. But most recently in July 2019 she made news headlines after her boyfriend James of 2 years and father of her toddler filed a police report that she had attacked him with a machete and also assaulted him. Audio footage was released of a statement from court where he shared different stories of abuse he faced from her and also revealed that the night of the attack, he was holding their toddler in his arms. She was charged with domestic violence committed in the presence of a child less than 16 years old, as well as intimidation. It was actually upped to a felony charge because of her previous charges for domestic violence and battery. She ended up pleading guilty to the felony intimidation charge in exchange for the other charges to be dismissed. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know like it was a bargain. Amber ended up taking a plea deal and will not spend time behind bars if she meets all the requirements and passes all her drug tests. However, she will be on probation for 906 days. Taking over our number 2 spot is Farrah Abraham. Her time on Teen Mom OG set her up with a lifetime of fame for her and her daughter Sophia ever since she made her debut on MTV's show 16 and Pregnant. But then she decided she wanted to be an adult film star and entertainer, if you know what I mean. And she was kicked off the show. But she didn't go gracefully. She dropped a $5 million lawsuit on MTV and its parent company called Viacom. She claimed that she was, I quote, sex shamed for my porn career. The lawsuit ended up getting settled in 2018, but then her finances seemed to be in rough shape. Not only was she starring in sex films, but she also started a line of her own toys. Not children toys, sex toys. But apparently it wasn't enough income to balance her lifestyle because TMZ released an article in 2019 saying that she broke a couple of her leases and owes more than $100,000 in rent. She was also hit with a $12,000 lawsuit for backing out of the celebrity boxing match that she spent months promoting and preparing for. Apparently, the reasoning was she wasn't happy that they wouldn't provide free accommodations for her family. At one point in 2019, she was living in her parents' home, which we saw briefly in an episode when she was still on the show.
Coming in at her number 1 spot, Sherry Pie. For RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12, they were burdened by a very strong accusation against one of their performers. Contestant Sherry Pie was axed from the show after he allegedly tried to groom and catfish 5 men. He had pretended to be a casting director and asked each of these men to send in videos of them doing very degrading things. I can't even mention them here. Although upon the victims doing further research into the supposed casting director, they discovered that it was all just fake. The issue with taking Joey, who plays Sherry Pie, off the show though was that Sherry had won most of the competitions, so he couldn't just be easily edited out. Sherry Pie had apologized and admitted that his behavior was terribly embarrassing, but regardless, he was disqualified from the show, and the producers did their very best to remove kind of most of the images, just giving him a very minimal amount of screen time. What are you gonna do? Cancel the whole season? You can't cancel season 12.
Starting us off at number 10 is Jeffree Star. Realistically, I don't think his career will ever truly be destroyed because he seems to be the lead in a lot of drama, but somehow he still is the most successful beauty guru on YouTube. But recently, some of his tweets from over 10 years ago have surfaced and show that he knew about Davy Vanity having sexual relations with minors. In his tweets dating back to 2010, he calls out Davy for all the inappropriate and illegal things that he was doing with younger girls. Jeffree had gone on tour with Davy's band, Blood on the Dance Floor, and witnessed these allegations firsthand. But now, Jeffree is claiming he had no idea that anything was going on. During an interview with crime investigator Chris Hansen, he said that he never witnessed anything that could be used as evidence, but people are not believing his words and are furious that he isn't protecting the alleged victims, but is protecting his careers. Because he did straight up admit in those tweets that he was witnessing these things. It's a sticky situation, makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. Up next, number 9 is Felicity Huffman. The Desperate Housewives star was involved in a serious scandal earlier this year that led to her being arrested at her home. The actress was caught being involved with a college admission scam. She was accused of paying $15,000 to William Rick Singer's fake charity to help her oldest daughter Sophia cheat on the SAT, which showed that she did score 400 points higher the second time she wrote it. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. Paperwork also shows that Felicity was making arrangements to pursue the scheme for a second time for her younger daughter, but decided to back out. She was arrested at gunpoint at her Los Angeles home and was later released on a $250,000 bond. She received tons of backlash ever since the scam was exposed, leading her to completely deactivating her social media accounts. She and her husband, William H. Macy, both pleaded guilty and served 11 days in federal prison. The family did get some good news though, and her youngest daughter, who wasn't involved in the scam, was accepted to Vassar College, so they are happy that she won't be negatively affected by their mistakes. Cruising into number 8 is Stephen Collins. You'd probably know him better as the dad from the hit TV series Seventh Heaven. Not only was he a dad on the show, but he also played a moralistic pastor, which is why fans were stunned when he did one of the least moral acts that someone could do. Back in 2014, footage leaked to TMZ of Stephen talking during one of his personal therapy sessions. In the footage, he admits to his therapist that he had molested underage girls in his past. Turns out, his wife at the time, Faye Grant, was secretly recording their therapy sessions from 2012. Once that was out, the NYPD and the Manhattan Special Victims Squad launched an investigation on him. He ended up doing a huge confession interview with People magazine where he admitted to molesting underage girls on 3 different occasions. According to him, the incidents occurred between the years 1973 to 1994, and he insisted that he hasn't had any urges ever since. For obvious reasons, he has not worked since the footage was leaked, and he was fired from TED 2 shortly after.
In at number 7, The Situation. Mike the Situation Sorrentino elevated himself to B-list celebrity status when he joined the cast of The Jersey Shore. But the show was wild and dramatic as The Jersey Shore, you'd think that Mike would have gone to prison for something party related. Unfortunately, it was an 8-month stint for tax evasion in 2018. He was then ordered to pay a fine of $10,000 and complete 500 hours of community service. Mike became one of the breakout stars in the show in 2009 simply for lifting up his shirt and showing his abs. I wonder how that reputation worked out for him in prison. I'm guessing not well. Now that he's out though, he will certainly have a difficult time trying to return to reality TV. He has to report regularly to a probation officer, he can't be around any drugs, nor can he even open a new line of credit. I think the only thing that his probation officer allowed him to do was a couple shoots for the reunion show called Jersey Shore Family Vacation. But for the most part, his life as a celebrity is over.
For number 6, we've got Amanda Bynes. Now speaking of child stars, former child star Amanda Bynes has been in and out of the spotlight for many years following her time in the media. But what really put the nail in her coffin was her Twitter spree/meltdown back in 2012. Her online rampage included many memorable tweets, such as those pertaining to a specific rapper doing unspeakable things to her nether regions, as well as referring to celebrities like Rihanna, Miley Cyrus, and Jay-Z as ugly. But the fun doesn't stop there, oh no. Bynes was also seen lighting a driveway and her pants on fire. This all resulted in her being placed into a psychiatric clinic and being diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Bynes says that since her breakdown she's gotten better and wants to return to the limelight, but honestly I think it's best that she sits this one out.
We're halfway through and we have Perez Hilton. The social media guru and drama commentator is currently under some heat after the comments he made about the most popular creator in the world on TikTok, Charli D'Amelio. She just turned 16 years old and she's actually the only and first TikToker to star in a Super Bowl commercial. She also has over 53 million followers on the app. Perez commented on one of her videos that she posted recently in March. She was on vacation in the Bahamas and she recorded one of her dancing videos that she's known for in a bikini. But she was dancing to a song by Brockhampton called Sugar, and in the lyrics it referenced something sexual, but she mouthed the words. He wrote on her picture and said, "Anyone else think it is inappropriate for a 15-year-old to dance to this?" People immediately started attacking him and said that he is shaming a young woman who is wearing a bikini at a beach and doing what she does on TikTok. If you don't have TikTok, this is what she is known for. He defended himself, saying that he is just questioning her parenting, which just made things worse. They were mad at him for then calling out her parents. They actually want him off the app and have now started a petition. Ooh, Charli could just get away with murder on that app. Alright guys, coming in at number 4 is Kevin Hunter. He is a prime example of do not piss off your wife, especially if she is your boss. Kevin is married to Wendy Williams, the leading lady and creator of The Wendy Williams Show. He worked alongside his wife for years as both an executive producer and also her manager, but was fired in April 2019 after it surfaced that he had cheated on her. But this wasn't just some drunken night mistake. He was in a full-blown relationship with another woman named Sharina Hudson for 15 years. And turns out the two of them even had a kid together. Wendy spoke on it when it made headlines and she said, "Look, my husband had a full baby with a woman he was involved with for 15 years, where I was cooped up only to be a show pony." So needless to say, he lost his job and a decent reputation. But the two of them share their own son together and still have what Wendy calls a friendship. I will be damned if that ever happens to me. Get your ass off my show. In the third place on our list is Mark Salling. The actor became a big deal when he played Noah Puckerman in the hit TV series Glee. But things went sour back in December 2015 when he was arrested in LA on charges that he had possessed and distributed child pornography. An official statement from investigators was released and it said that they found a laptop, a USB drive, and a hard drive filled with thousands of pictures and videos of child pornography. The ages of the children were believed to range from 5 years old to 12 years old. Immediately following the news, the mini-series he was signed up for, called Adi Shankar's Gods and Secrets, dropped him from the project. They also released a statement saying, "The innocence of our planet's children is something that must be protected at all costs." He didn't act in anything after that, and the world was shocked when they found out that he died in 2018 because it caused a lot of controversy because people felt that it was hard to be sympathetic towards him after what he had done. However, it is hard not to have compassion for his surrounding family and friends, but his victims will be getting restitution.
In at number 2, Ryan DeNino. Long before shows like 90 Day Fiancé, we had the series called Married at First Sight. The show aired on FYI, A&E, as well as Lifetime, and certainly was not a show for the faint at heart. The cast members on the show would literally meet a complete stranger and then head straight for the altar. Yes, they literally had people getting married at first sight. I don't know who thinks of these ideas, but man, oh man, do they need somebody around like Toby Flenderson from The Office to just go, I don't think that's a good idea. During season 2, we were introduced to Ryan DeNino, who was matched up with Jessica Castro. At first glance, they appeared to be a perfect couple, but the cracks in this already unstable foundation really began to show. An audio recording was released where you can actually hear Ryan threatening to kill his new wife and her family. Following this, Castro requested a restraining order and he was charged with harassment, menacing, and stalking.
And finally at number 1, Kanye West. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying, yes, I know Kanye's still around, he's still popping off, however, let's just look back at the last few years and I'll let you decide. First, let's talk about his little stunt with Taylor Swift at the VMAs. Very cringeworthy. Some believe it was an Illuminati initiation, but bro, I don't know. Next, we've got his Twitter feud with Wiz Khalifa back in 2016. Also an ugly moment. And we also have Kanye's undying love for President Trump. Furthermore, we have his more recent election campaign. Now, between all of this nonsense he's been previously cancelled for, his career seems to be going okay-ish? Now you're probably thinking, Brie, he's still going, he's fine, his career isn't dead. Well, I have one reason for that, dear viewer. He won't let it die. Kanye is a little too far gone for him to realize that his career is plummeting, so he's just pretending like everything's fine. Like the wise words of Confucius, fake it till you make it. Now, after his years of controversy, is there a way for him to redeem himself? Probably not, but hey, he's trying.
Beginning the countdown list at number 10 is Tekashi 6ix9ine. His real name is Daniel Hernandez, but the world knows him for his rapper name Tekashi or Tekashi 6ix9ine. He rose to fame over the past few years and captured America's attention with an escalating series of controversial behavior. Not to mention his forehead 69 tattoo. It was pretty quick to grab our attention. He sparks outrage basically wherever he goes, yet somehow he is adored by millions of people at the same time. His Gummo music video played a big part in the deplete of his music career. The video went viral and hit platinum in just a few months, but its popularity is what uncovered a lot about his life before fame, which included a guilty plea for child sex charges. The case quickly got exposed to the public eye and it was all over from there. Just 12 months later, after he shot the music video, he was in jail facing 32 years to life on charges that included armed robbery and attempted murder. How? Turns out he was linked to gangs. Through his time in court, more of his past came to light. As of this month, December 2019, he was awaiting a sentence for 6 charges that include conspiracy to commit murder, armed robbery, racketeering, and possession of a rifle. It was looking like he was unlikely to walk free from all of this, and they were saying that he could have served 1 to 37 years in prison. However, literally yesterday he was sentenced and he walked away with just a 2-year sentencing. Next up at number 9 is Tila Tequila. She rose to fame when she was recognized early on as a social media celebrity, what people now call an influencer. She was the most popular person on MySpace during the time and her career took off from there. But in the past decade, she's become one of the most unpopular people in Hollywood. Back in 2007, MTV thought it'd be smart to capitalize on her large online fan base, so they gave her her own dating show called A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila. I actually watched it, not gonna lie. From there, she started getting some minor roles in movies like a Hooters girl in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. However, all of this went to waste after she posted this bizarre writing on her website called Why I Sympathize with Hitler. In it, she wrote, I quote, I learned the truth about the war and what Hitler truly did. He was not a bad person as they have made him out to be. On top of that, she posted pictures of herself posing in front of Auschwitz dressed as a seductive looking Nazi. But she really ruined all chances at a return in 2016 when she attacked the Jewish conservative political commentator Ben Shapiro, saying that he should be gassed and sent back to Israel. Her words, not mine.
In number 8, Brandi Glanville. For those of you who don't know, Brandi Glanville was typically at the center of every dramatic moment on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I guess the lady that had wine thrown at her was offering Brandi money for the dinner, then this clearly upset Brandi. I mean, she resorted to tossing wine into her face and then just laughing it off. The incident became infamous and as you can tell, the rest of the cast really started to hate her after that. After more bickering with her co-stars throughout season 5, she was promptly asked to leave the show. Their biggest complaint was that she just became utterly difficult to work with and therefore made shooting scenes with her a nightmare kinda to sit through. And on the flip side, her defenders say that the show will be awful because at least Brandy brought in some drama to make it interesting. I don't know, we'll have to see.
At number 7, Lindsay Lohan. We all know Lindsay from her late 90s and early 2000s work. From Parent Trap to Mean Girls, Lohan was no stranger to the silver screen, but in 2007 her hot streak hit the brakes. In May of that year, Lindsay was taken to hospital after a car accident, and after she was discharged, more information came out about that accident. Just before the accident, she was discharged from a rehab center for undisclosed problems. I'm pretty sure that undisclosed problems means a whole crap ton of problems. Anyway, following the crash, she was charged with a DUI, possession of that special white no-no snow, and even a hit and run. This followed up with more charges later, as well as a few more unsuccessful trips to rehab. Please, Lindsay, get some help because this is so not fetch.
Having through the list, number 5 is the Teen Mom star Janelle Evans. She has shared her journey as a mom on MTV ever since she got pregnant at 16 and appeared on their show 16 and Pregnant. For many years, fans adored her and loved watching her story, even though it was filled with a lot of chaos and controversy. I mean, maybe that is why they liked her story. She has been one of the leading ladies on Teen Mom 2 until she was fired from the show earlier this year. It all went downhill after her husband David shot and killed their French bulldog and then openly admitted it on his Instagram. He was the first one fired from the show back in 2018 after making inappropriate remarks about the gay community. So, basically, he's a pretty stand-up guy, to say the least. But Janelle defended her husband and was threatening production that if they didn't allow her husband to film, then she would leave the show, which we saw in one of the episodes. But in May 2019, MTV released a statement saying, MTV ended its relationship with David Eason over a year ago in February 2018 and has not filmed any new episodes of Teen Mom 2 with him since. Additionally, we have stopped filming with Janelle Eason as of April 6, 2019 and have no plans to cover her story in the upcoming season. And I am watching the new season and they did replace her. Since then, we haven't really seen much of her, but she recently announced that she is no longer with David, which is probably the best choice there, girlfriend. Nightmare number 4 spot is Lindsay Lohan. Homegirl had a downward spiral, and to be quite honest, it kinda broke my heart. Being in the spotlight is nothing new for her since she's been working ever since she was just a kid. She first made a name for herself when she took on the lead role in the 1988 remake of The Parent Trap. And from there she became a teen sensation and had a wildly successful career as more time went on. But then her movie streak came to an end when she was arrested in 2007 for a DUI when she got into a car accident and had to go to the hospital. But she was also hit with charges of possession of cocaine and a misdemeanor hit and run following the accident. And yes, your girl went to jail. She was sentenced to 120 days in county jail and 480 hours of community service. Ever since then, her career has not been the same. She moved to Dubai to escape the paparazzi because it's illegal there, and she opened her own beach club in Mykonos. MTV actually did a show with her called Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club, where she went through the process of finding employees, but the show didn't get a second season and it had a lot of mixed reviews. More negative than positive. Although I watched it, and I liked it, because I like her. But yeah, Homegirl's a little bit of a mess.
In at number 3, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, whose real name is just Terry, used to be on top of the world when he was a wrestler with the WWE. From there, he even had his own reality TV show with his family that abruptly ended upon getting divorced, and his kids kinda getting into their own trouble. Although whatever career he had left on reality TV is long gone after his racist rants were released. Allegedly, his daughter had started dating a black man, and this just made Hulkamania run wild. Along with that, his career was already in turmoil after a sex tape was released of him and Heather Cole. Heather was the wife of his good friend Bubba the Love Sponge, who Terry then sued along with Heather, believing that they had set him up to turn a profit on his sex tape. Following that, much of his time was caught up going to court over his defamation suit against the news outlet known as Gawker. Great special on Netflix if you want to watch that one. That's as close as he's getting to reality TV. One special on Netflix.
Closing in at number 2, Bill Cosby. I think we all know what's going on with Mr. Cosby Show right here. But for those who don't know, Bill Cosby has been making some poor decisions for quite some time. But none of them have really come back to bite him until recently. Cosby has been under fire for various assaults over the years, many of which have been dealt with quietly, which is basically Hollywood speak for paid off. But recently, many victims have come forward to fight Cosby and have their stories heard. This case has been in the courts for a while, but luckily the victims won and Cosby will be sentenced to 10 years in prison. The now 83-year-old will be in prison until he reaches his 90s, and oh man, that's gotta suck. Imagine living out the rest of your years behind bars. This is why you don't hurt others. Just be like me, stay as far away from the human population as possible, and nothing will go wrong.
Winning first place is Cole Sprouse. The Riverdale actor has been dating Riverdale actress Lily Reinhart since 2017, but rumors have landed him in fire after claims were made saying that he cheated on her. People started saying that he was cheating on her with Kaya Gerber, an 18-year-old model. He, of course, claims the rumors are not true, and his response to them just made people even more angry. He posted this long rant on social media and said, I quote, "When I first stepped into a public relationship, this was one of the foreseeable consequences. And while I never truly intend to indulge in any part of my private life to the ravenous horde, it's clear my restraint in updating them has allowed them to push their own agenda onto my habits and lifestyle. So in conclusion, please eat my delatable plump ass, making me post a goddamn white font Insta story like a twice divorced mother of 3. Bruh. I had to follow, I couldn't even look at the camera. I had to read that because that's some crazy stuff in there. Basically, if the cheating scandal wasn't enough to have people hate him, this response probably does. You literally could have just said you didn't do it.